Hello, welcome to Preserving God Blessings. My name is Brandy. I am new to my new channel. We're going to talk about things like what to do with extra things from your garden that you don't know what to do with. If you have a garden, if you don't, we're also going to talk about things that we can buy in abundance of at the store and that we can preserve and keep at home to keep our shelves stocked in case of an emergency or just to have on hand. If you would please like and subscribe if you like the channel. Today I had an overabundance of carrots from my garden, as well as bell peppers and hot peppers like jalapenos and serranos. So today is I need to get rid of them before they go bad, and I don't like to waste food. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make some Italian gardenia or giardiniera. I call it gardenia. Basically, it's like a pepper sauce that we use for, pouring the vinegar over like some green beans or even like some collard greens or something like that. So if you like to see what we're going to do with it, stick around. I'll be right back. Okay, so now what we did is we took our jars and we already sterilized them. We washed them and put them in the oven for a little bit so that they can kind of sterilize and get clean. And now we're just going to put our stuff together. I cut up my cauliflower and my carrots, just whatever size you want. I did chunks of bell pepper as well as some celery. And then, of course, I did my peppers. These peppers are pretty hot, too. They've been sitting around. All right. So here we go. So I just add a little bit of each to a jar. Some celery and some carrots in there. Just kind of even them out, evenly space them out a little bit. You could mix this all together and then pour it in the bowl if you like. Put you some peppers in there and you just give it a little shake. Mm. And we'll fill up all of our jars, to at least a inch head space, which is right about in here, for so we can kind of can them all together. But one thing I remember as a kid using this is I used to love eating the cauliflower. I used to love eating the cauliflower. I used to pick all the cauliflower and the carrots was my best part, the best part of it all. I probably can put more peppers in there. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and see how many jars I got. I got 7 jars. So hopefully I can fill all of these jars and I'll be back in just a minute. All right. So now we've got all of our jars filled. I had to get one more. It actually made 8 pints. So now we're gonna make our brine. With our brine, I have 6 cups of water already poured in my pot, and then I have 3 cups of white vinegar. Go ahead and pour it in there. I have 4 teaspoons of sugar and 6 teaspoons of salt. And we'll let that get nice and warm. And then we'll pour them into our jars. And get it nice and hot. While that's going, I've already sanitized my lids and everything. And I have some rings already set. For those of you who don't can, You do not need a pressure can. I mean, a pressure canner. Um, for this method here, this is a water bath, meaning you can use a regular pot and put some water in it. Put your jars in the pot, and then you'll cover it about 1 inch. The ball preservation book helped me out, taught me how to do a little bit of this stuff. And my mother, of course, my grandmother, and all that. It's kind of like a family thing. Um, and then for those of you who don't want to can it, but you just want to keep a couple in the refrigerator, or have it nice and stacked away in the refrigerator for the next day, or it'll last about a month or so in the refrigerator without canning it. Okay. So now we're just going to check our brine and make sure it's good and hot and good and ready. It'll probably be a little bit. It's got a ways to go. We got to let the salt dissolve in the water and the sugar dissolve. I saw a lady on YouTube. She put a bay leaf in the brine for taste. I don't know about that, but we can try it. So I'll go get me some bay leaf and I'll put it in there and see what happens. Some of the other things I would like to start to try to talk about is maybe um, doing canning your vegetables, or finding a way to preserve your food. You know, say the lights go out. Do you have enough food in your pantry or in your kitchen uh, to eat without electricity, and that kind of stuff? Nowadays is a time to think about that. Things kind of weird out here nowadays, so just want to be a little prepared, at least for a week or two. Try to you know do things on your own, be a little more self-sufficient instead of waiting on the grocery store and going out to eat. Maybe cook a meal or two. All right. So now that we got our brine hot and ready to go, we're going to pour the brine over our vegetables. Okay. I also added a fourth of a teaspoon of red hot pepper into each jar. We kind of like it a little spicy. I have a little funnel here, a little canning funnel, that's going to help me stay nice and neat and not spill everything everywhere. So as I get these jars full, um, just remember, you know, you can do this in your kitchen. You can pickle, just like pickling anything that you have. If you have some jalapenos in your garden, you want to pickle, you can pickle them doing the same method. I pickle jalapenos. We pickle beets. I love me some pickled beets. Love, love, love some pickled beets. And then, of course, when you put your water in, you want your 1 inch head space in there. Okay, so don't forget, we got to leave that space in there. So as it's sitting in the canning, or doing the canning process to seal the jars, it's got some room. I do have my jars a little full, but they're being pickled. So best believe if they don't seal, we won't tear them up. We won't eat them up. Okay. So when you're doing this and you're filling up your jars, just remember you got to debubble your jars, which I'll show you in just a second. Uh, and you may need a little more extra liquid in your jars. So just remember that. So if you have a little extra, it's okay, because we can use it. We might end up needing it. I also have my pot with some water on, and it's on a medium heat. It's just to get the water warm because my brine is warm, and you don't want to put a cold glass jar in hot water. So I just made my pot of water just a little warm, so you know won't break my glass. All right. So now I have my little debubbling tool right here, and we're just gonna go in here and just kind of take all the bubbles out. You know, all the air needs to come out of there, so I can so it can be shelf stable. And see, that one looks like it's just right. And if you're not familiar with any of this, hopefully it interests you a little bit. Go back into the old days and the old ways of how our ancestors used to do their food in the kitchen. If you don't have any storage or any place to put it all, think about things unusual like um, maybe under the bed, at the bottom of a closet. You know, just don't forget about it though. I have a lot of stuff in my pantry, but I also have a lot of stuff in a closet. Made, made one half of the closet for food. So it is possible to find somewhere for it. And a lot of these gonna need some more water. I don't know. This year the garden did excellent. I tell you that. Only on peppers, tons of peppers, green beans, and that's it. We had a few cabbages, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't a whole lot like we normally get. But I think I've been gardening for about 15 years, just kind of off and on. Doing it just as a hobby, nothing serious. I would love to be self-sufficient one day. That would be great. But I don't have enough room for like some goats and well, I probably do some goats and have chickens too and all that kind of stuff. I would like that. But I work, it's kind of hard. Kind of hard for a girl to work and try to have a dream. But we're gonna try to make it happen. We're gonna do something. So now as I look at these jars, trying to see, we do have one that kind of needs more water, more brine in it. Two of them. All right. So if you add more water to it, you got to debubble it again just to make sure everything is sitting well. No more air is put in there, got in there. The other thing I have is I have a little bit of vinegar on the side and I have a clean paper towel, right? And as we've been mashing down all the vegetables and stuff and pouring vinegar over the jars, sometimes you get a little food around the edges of the jar. It's very important that you try to keep that clean. So we use the vinegar just a little bit and just wipe the edges or the rims of the jar. Keep it clean. So I'll wipe it around at least twice just to make sure I don't have any residue or kind of seeds or something to stop the sealing process. And then I'll come back around with a dry piece to make sure that we are good to go. So we don't have any issues with sealing. And if you need to dip some more vinegar, go ahead and get it in there. But what I noticed is this is not like a popular thing for young people. That's what I would like to see is young people try to get involved in doing stuff like this. This would be not like I'm old or nothing, but some more young people do it. It's interesting just to see the progress of your growth, of all your vegetables and stuff like that. At least in my town, I haven't seen a lot of people interested in doing what I'm doing. Hopefully, this will reach someone who is interested. Um, Now we're putting the lids on. Okay. Now some of these lids are used. I do reuse my lids. I know it's like a forbidden rule in some places, but I only use it for like pickled items and stuff like that because it's got vinegar in it and you're gonna seal it. And as long as the lids don't look too bad, I try to reuse them. Like this one was used for pickled onions, so yeah, I think that's the only one I had that was reused. And then now we go ahead and put our rings on. Now you can get jars anywhere. Walmart now has jars. And you're gonna put this on finger tight, just just like that, just very little, very light. Um, I think Walmart has jars now. Target has jars. Just about everywhere is starting to have some jars. And man, if that ain't a sign, I don't know what is. To go ahead and if you only have a patio, at least put something out there that would save you money too. I don't have to go grocery shopping all the time neither because we have food in the pantry. You know, just kind of sitting on the shelf waiting to be used. So it's a nice idea. It's not for everyone though, but at least if you know how to do it, you won't be stuck just in case. And don't wait till the last minute. And food now is already expensive as it is, so you need to try not to waste as much as you can. So that's what we're trying to do. Grow, save, and try to find unique ways to use it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put these jars in this water. I have it's like in a canning set. In the canning set, you kind of get like a little thing. It's a jar lifter. I don't know the name of it, but you can like lift your jars with it. You get a little jar funnel. You get the little bubbler thing. You can measure your headspace. If you're not familiar with it, you can measure it like this. And you can use the other side to debubble the jar. And then this here is when you're boiling your lids or sterilizing your lids, you can pick the lids up. It's just a metal little magnet. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put our jars in here in the water. And we're going to make sure we got enough water covering our jars. At least 1 to 2 inches above the jar. I have 8 and my pot will only sit 7. So one going in the freezer to eat for later. Maybe I have to. All right, and we're gonna put these in here, and we are going to put the lid on. Oh, I almost got just enough water. And we're gonna put the lid on, and we're gonna boil them at a rolling boil for 15 minutes. So once we put the lid on and we turn the fire up, let the water roll and boil before you start your timer. Okay. Start your timer at 15 minutes. Once it starts that bubbling, the rolling bubble, and the rolling boil, and then we'll do 15 minutes. We'll take them out and they'll sit on the counter for about 12 to 16 hours untouched, and check the seals. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so now the 15 minutes is up. I let the top sit on. I turned the fire off and let the top sit on the pot for about 10-15 minutes just to kind of cool down a little bit. And before I take the can or the jars out the pot, I like to let it temper a little bit, kind of help with ciphering, the water spilling out of the can or out of the jar when you pick it up. So I use my little dilly bopper here, the can, I call it my jar lifter here. And just gently lift my jars out the can. I have granite countertops, so I have to use like a towel because it stays cold. And so I put a towel down, put a clean towel down, so your hot jars won't crack. Okay. And you'll let them sit here on the counter for about overnight if you like. I leave mine for about 24 hours. My mom always says, don't touch them, just let them do what they do. And every now and again, I do look at it to make sure that it's sealed. Now, on the lid, it has a little bubble on the lid, which once it's sealed, that's how you kind of know it's sealed because that bubble will go down. Just like when you buy a jar of something at the store, you open it and it breaks the seal. That little bubble thing pops up and it makes noise when you tap the top. So that's it. So once the jars are cooled and sealed, we'll go ahead and store them in the pantry, and it'll be ready to eat whenever we want them. Thank you for joining us. This is my first time, like I said, so please be gentle. We will be back with a couple of other things. I have a couple of things that I'd like to do, and maybe even discuss how you guys preserve your food, and we can share and learn from each other. Okay. Well, talk to you later. Please like and subscribe. See you later. Oh, did you hear the pop? That's when it's sealed. All right. Bye bye.